just ahead on CTV News.
Loved ones gathered to honor the young Prince George's County woman whose life was cut short. I'm Dacara Jones at her homegoing service. I'll have more details coming up on CTV News.
Plus,
federal and local lawmakers gathered to talk about the future of the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center. I'm Byron Scott. Will have that story coming up.
and tensions rise between lawmakers before a possible shutdown. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for September 23rd. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, family and friends gathered to celebrate the life of a young county woman who went missing and was later found murdered.
That's right. The funeral service for Dacara Thompson was held right here in Prince George's County. CTV's Dacara Jones is outside of Kettering Baptist Church Legacy Center with more.
That's right. Dacara Thompson was young, bright, and her family loved her, which explains why so many of her cherished loved ones came out to this church in Upper Marlboro today to celebrate and honor her life.
Thank you, Jesus, for blessing me.
Today was a day of celebration and final goodbyes to 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. Hundreds of people, many dressed in pink, Dakara's favorite color, packed Kettering Baptist Church Legacy Center for her funeral service.
She was a good person, you know, loving person. She played her sports, you know what I'm saying? She liked to do what she liked to do, chill with her friends, her best friend, all type of stuff like that. She was just a honorable, good, loving person.
Dacara was a beloved daughter, and when she went missing on August 23rd, it was her parents that were out in the community searching for her. Her body was found by Maryland State Police on a river embankment in Anne Arundel County on August 31st. 35-year-old Hugo Hernandez-Mendez was arrested and charged with her murder. Prince George's Police Chief George Nader and County Executive Aisha Braveboy both came out to honor the young woman whose life was cut short.
This was a tragic event that our whole community felt, and the police department felt as well. So we just want to come out and show our support for the family, because we know what it's like to lose a loved one, but tragically lose a loved one is even harder.
Dacara was 19 years old. She had just really started her life, and she was tragically taken from her family and her entire community. She was someone who, in her young years, decided that she wanted to dedicate her life to serving others, and so she chose the service year option provided by Governor Westmore.
We also learned today is that Dacara Thompson enjoyed sports, especially basketball. Her cousin said that was the sport she enjoyed. Reporting in Upper Marlboro, Dacara Jones, CTV News.
And thanks, Dacara, for that story. We are keeping the family in prayer. The funeral service wrapped up this afternoon. And on that note, the Black and Missing Foundation recently released their Law Enforcement Best Practices Guide for Missing Persons Investigations. The guide outlines what you should do and should not do when it comes to reporting people who are missing. For instance, you want to show a nice picture of the person and have a clear headline. According to the Black and Missing Foundation, several children of color who go missing are classified as runaways, so they do not receive an Amber Alert.
We know that runaways do not meet the criteria to initiate an Amber Alert. And sometimes it seems as if the families, their plea is falling on deaf ears. What we need for everyone, and with law enforcement, is to take all cases seriously. We need them to investigate all cases.
Looking at their data, 40% of people who go missing are people of color, but African Americans only make up 13% of the population.
And we have new updates into the case of a woman charged for the murder of her grandmother. 28-year-old Briante Thomas was in court on Friday, and a judge ruled for her to undergo a mental health and competency evaluation. She is charged with the first and second degree murder and the stabbing death of her grandmother, 81-year-old Helen Thomas. According to court documents, a male relative heard Helen scream for help. He then tried to stop Briante Thomas, but was stabbed a few times himself before he fled from the scene. Briante Thomas will remain in jail without bond until her preliminary hearing on October 17th.
Prince George's County Police arrested a man for hitting a woman with a car during an illegal vehicle takeover in Landover. The suspect on your screen is 18-year-old Knife Salmo. According to police, Salmo allegedly struck a spectator as he was doing circles in his car. The woman who was hit was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The suspect fled the scene and spray painted his car a different color. Vehicle takeovers are gatherings where people block off the road and perform dangerous car stunts. And it's been about 2 months since the Trump administration announced plans to shut down the decades-old Beltsville Agricultural Research Center.
That's right. It's a move that could uproot hundreds of workers and hurt the local economy. Byron Scott has our story on an effort to keep it open.
Apparently, this is USDA property, and they don't want us to deliver our message to you.
The news conference began with Senator Chris Van Hollen telling reporters that the Trump administration got word to them that they could not hold the media event on USDA land.
I don't know why they want to impose a gag rule on all of us.
They went ahead with the presser anyway. Federal, state, and local leaders gathered at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, or BARC, to fight an administration plan to relocate more than 2,500 USDA workers to other locations around the country and shutter the Beltsville Research Center.
This is the nation's agricultural powerhouse.
Lawmakers talked about some of the work performed at the location.
So, for example, grass seed that you use in your backyard, the mosquito repellent you put on when you go for a hike, Roma tomatoes, turkeys that you eat at Thanksgiving, the big plump ones. All of those are brought to you by research here at BARC.
Every time I come here, I am amazed at the quality of work that is done here, the quality of research, that Nobel Prize winners have worked at this facility.
The Trump administration announced its plan earlier this year, but opponents say the president cannot act unilaterally.
I introduced legislation in 1986 on an appropriation bill that said you cannot close BARC without the Congress's authorization. I pray that the Congress will not give that authorization.
And so the fight continues, all of it taking place in a county where Six Flags is leaving, the commanders are leaving, and the FBI never broke ground.
We're losing revenue, we're losing a workforce, and this would mean much of the same.
We're going to fight this for the American people, for the ag community, not only here, but around the country, who all rely on the research here at Beltsville Agricultural Research Center.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
BARC was founded in 1910 and currently covers 6,500 acres.
With a possible government shutdown just a week away, President Trump has agreed to meet with top Democratic leadership before the September 30th deadline. But earlier today, he canceled it. In a letter to the president, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries accused the GOP of refusing bipartisan negotiations to keep the government open. While the House approved a continuing resolution last Friday, it failed to get enough votes in the Senate, and lawmakers left Washington for the Rosh Hashanah holiday. Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey says he has little hope of a deal.
I mean, hope springs eternal, but, Trump doesn't have a great track record on these kinds of things. And the way he's handled not only the shutdown issue, but the legislation across the board and the executive orders, I haven't seen much in the way of bipartisanship from him, or frankly anything that's benefiting regular Americans.
So if the government does shut down, who will take the blame? What do you think?
Well, I think it's got to be on the Republicans because they control all branches of the government, the White House, the Senate, the Supreme Court. The bill that they introduced in the House side we hadn't even seen. So, really it's on them.
Without an agreement by September 30th, the shutdown will begin on October 30th, the start of the new fiscal year. You're watching CTV News. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, at least every person in the DMV has seen this well-known site at least once or twice.
But do you actually know what this site is? We visit the attraction and have those details when we come back. Stay with us.
When I was born, my parents thought everything was okay. My mom and dad were so excited to take me home.
I still get goosebumps telling this story. Several days in, his skin started to become very cold and clammy. We noticed that he had become blue around his mouth, and something was just very off.
We packed up as fast as we could. Brady stopped breathing twice on the way to the pediatrician, and that was one of the #1 things that just haunts me to this day.
I was born with a congenital heart defect and almost died. If my parents waited just 1 more hour to drive me to the hospital, I would not be here today. But thanks to research funded by the American Heart Association, I had heart surgery that saved my life.
And now my son is happy and healthy. The American Heart Association gives kids and families hope of a healthy future.
Learn more at helpheart.org.
Welcome back. A high school student from Suitland is being charged as an adult for shooting an off-duty firefighter. 17-year-old Marcellus Dyson is being charged with armed robbery along with other charges. According to court documents, the off-duty firefighter was walking home from a party in Northeast D.C. when Dyson approached him. Dyson allegedly demanded that he hand over everything and unlock his phone. When the firefighter refused, Dyson allegedly shot him in the chest. The firefighter was then able to grab the gun and shoot the teen in the hand. MPD and the FBI are investigating the case.
And Prince George's County schools are looking to make changes after violence broke out at a high school football game. Police say there was a strong armed robbery and several fights outside Wise High School during Friday night's varsity matchup. 1 juvenile was arrested and 2 others were treated for minor injuries. PGCPS now plans to move the school's games to Saturdays and add extra security at larger venues. In a statement, PGCPS said, quote, "The safety of students, staff, and spectators is a top priority. All high school football games are staffed by PGCPS security and county police, and all ticket holders must pass through security enhancements. We expect all students to follow the same behavioral expectations as those outlined in our Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook during school-sponsored events. And students can face serious consequences such as suspension or expulsion for their actions." And it's one of the most recognizable landmarks in our area, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Kensington. CTV takes a look inside the story behind the temple. You can't miss it. It rises above the trees in Kensington. For decades, its towering architecture has caught the eyes of drivers along the Beltway. Some even nicknamed it Disneyland.
Disneyland's a special place too. It's a little different vibe, I gotta say. I think it's like over 100,000 square feet. It's big, and it's bigger than most temples they build now.
For members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the temple serves as a spiritual home.
I mean, there's not huge halls like a cathedral. It's more like, smaller sort of rooms where you just will, sit and contemplate and pray.
There are 43 Mormon churches in Maryland and about 5 in Prince George's County.
This temple was dedicated in 1974. They built like a replica of the front of that for like a pavilion at this World's Fair, and people went crazy for it. They were really interested, so they thought, we need one of these. We need a temple here in the East Coast, not just in Utah, where the church had been sort of pretty well established for a while.
Unlike regular church buildings, the temple is reserved for special ceremonies like weddings and baptisms.
I think the church was probably a little overly cautious about talking about what goes on in the temple. And I think part of that is because it's sacred and people feel like it's a personal thing that they want to keep sacred for them. I think in the last certainly in the last 10 years or so, have really opened up to be, happy to take questions from people and to talk about what goes on in there.
And while the temple itself is generally closed to the public, the visitor center right next door is open to thousands, including missionaries who have come here to serve.
I actually did not want to go on this journey, but it took a lot of personal time and prayer, and my older sister said that she was going to go on a mission, that she wanted me to go with her to think about it.
I was brought up in the faith ever since I was young, but I think there's a sort of personal conversion to this faith you have to have yourself. There comes to a point in time that you leave your parents' home and you have to decide that you want to keep going to church and want to keep following the Savior's example.
The temple remains one of the primary Latter-day Saints temple in the D.C. region, and there are currently no public opening dates scheduled at this time.
In just over a week, drivers caught speeding in Maryland will face steeper fines. On October 1st, drivers who go 12 to 15 miles over the speed limit will face a $50 fine. And for people traveling 40 miles over the speed limit, they will be hit with a $425 ticket. The changes come part as a bill that was passed by the Maryland General Assembly and signed into law by Governor Wes Moore. Under the new law, the State Highway Administration will create a new group to study speeding in school zones.
Meanwhile, Democratic leaders in Annapolis are touting an energy refund to customers. A roughly $40 rebate on electricity bills that was approved in April is on its way to customers, with a second round expected to go out early next year. Lawmakers used $200 million from a state fund for energy efficiency and renewable energy programs to send directly to all residential ratepayers. At a press conference yesterday, Governor Wes Moore said the relief comes as a result of the Net Generation Energy Act. Officials say every Maryland household will receive 2 bill credits, each averaging about $40.
Maryland Democrats are calling on former Governor Larry Hogan to denounce social media posts being made by a political campaign aimed at attacking Governor Wes Moore. The No More campaign is an organization that has publicly criticized the governor. They use AI-generated content to make fun of Moore. In one of the posts, it depicts the governor in a rainbow clown wig and nose. The campaign says Democrats can't defend the governor's record on spending and taxes.
So to come on CTV News, a local spa in the county that just opened up last month is now facing the possibility of closing.
We speak with the owner trying to save her spa when we return.
From the beginning, America has depended on the courage and resilience of those who serve in our armed forces. For 250 years, they've been there for us without fail, putting their lives on the line, defending our freedom, helping us become the nation we are today. At Wounded Warrior Project, our mission honors the past by building a better future for post-9/11 veterans, service members, and their families. Our life-changing programs and services help warriors improve their mental and physical health, access the VA benefits they've earned, and connect with their communities, their purpose, and each other. Warriors have given us their best. Join us in supporting them through the next 250 years of strength, resilience, and recovery. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/USA.
Once upon a time, there was a special green and blue marble. It floated in space. If you looked closely, you could see all kinds of curious creatures and happy people like you and me.
The marble gave them everything they needed to survive, and more. Crisp air to breathe, fresh water to drink, tasty food to fill their bellies, and crucial medicines to keep them healthy. For a while, the people felt peace, and the marble fed their souls.
But as time passed, things started to change. All life there came under pressure. Nature needed their help. And they realized they needed nature too. So they partnered with the sun, the wind, the land, and the water to restore the marble that had always sustained them.
Is that the end of the story?
Not at all. Just the beginning.
Just a few weeks after its grand opening, a luxury spa in Bowie is in danger of closing its doors for good.
Century Sentiments makes itself as a private oasis designed to help you relax, reset, and release. But tonight, facing an uncertain future, the owner speaks with CTV's Anaya Falcon in hopes of helping other business leaders avoid the mistakes she made.
Century Sentiments is open for business.
A happy beginning for an uncertain present. After just over 30 days of being open, Century Sentiments is facing the possibility of closing its doors.
It is with a heavy heart that I share we will not be able to keep our doors open under our current circumstances.
Nadine Vattel is the owner of Sensory Sentiments. She shared that heartfelt post about a week ago in a plea to get the community support to save her spa. She says if she could start over again, she would do things differently.
When you're a business owner, sometimes time is not always on your side, especially if you have deadlines, you have loan payments, rent payments, payroll to make. So sometimes you make decisions that are more emotional or just trying to fix the right here, right now, and not understanding that that right here, right now fix what the long-term impact may be.
Vattel says it's also important for business owners to vet people and market their businesses properly, although there are some business decisions that Vattel would change. She says she wouldn't change her impact.
For us, particularly me as a business owner and as an African-American woman, to be able to come in here and have the detox services or to be in the sleep meditation room, which I actually fell asleep in for 30 minutes, is absolutely amazing because it caters to us as a people and in this community.
She also says Vattel is paving the way for other Black-owned spas and bringing a level of professionalism to the county. The spa offers massages, facials, body treatments, and more.
I'm going to be on a reoccurring schedule because I actually walked out of here feeling like I had been on vacation for a week, so it was amazing.
To create something is always a dream, but to have someone, a perfect stranger, walk into a space and say they immediately felt like praying, that is powerful. When people walk through different rooms and are touched emotionally different ways, it is powerful, and it lets me know that I was just a tool to create, but it was God's vision that I was able to create.
A vision that she says she won't lose sight of just yet, as Prince George's County deserves luxury and a space for self-care. Vattel says she's hopeful for the future.
When I first shared the story and, opened and just started to have some of the struggles, it was really, really hard, but the community has come out and I feel hopeful now.
In Bowie, I'm Anaya Falcon, CTV News.
Thanks, Anaya, for that story. Sensory Sentiments started a campaign to sell 700 services by Sunday in an effort to save their spa and to teach people about investing in self-care. For more information, you can visit sensorysentiments.com. For those who drive through Silver Spring, part of Sligo Creek Parkway is now closed. The stretch between Piney Branch Road and Wayne Avenue shut down this week, and it will stay that way for the next 2 months. Crews are working on Purple Line construction, laying track, fixing guardrails, and upgrading signs. However, the trail along the parkway is still open, although there are some detours around the work zone. It's all a part of the Purple Line project set to connect Montgomery and Prince George's counties by late 2027.
Well, one city in Maryland is ranked as the best city in the nation for women to live. Columbia took the #1 spot in Wallet Hub's recent study on the top 10 best places for women to live in. That is due to the city's high wages, low unemployment rate, and stellar health care for women. The study also showed that 8 out of 10 women in the city are physically active, marking the 6th highest percentage of all cities on the list. Washington, D.C. came in at 13 and Baltimore ranked at 36. And the latest U.S. News and World Report college rankings are out, and most D.C. area schools didn't see big swings, but there were a few surprises. Johns Hopkins holds steady in the the top 10 at number 7. Georgetown stays at 24. The University of Maryland climbs to 42, while the University of Virginia slips to 26.
And now it is time for that Tuesday Sports Page.
That's right. What's going on today, Simon?
What's up, everybody? Don't go anywhere because coming right up, a recap of some high school boys soccer action from yesterday, and the Washington Commanders suffer a huge blow to their secondary. Those stories and more after the break. Stay tuned.
Habitat for Humanity has helped tens of millions of people around the world build their lives on their own terms. But we have so much more to do. Because 1 in 3 people on Earth still don't have a safe, affordable home. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. Will it be easy? No. But we're not afraid of getting our hands dirty and doing the hard work. But we can't do it alone. We need you. Because all of this starts with home, and home starts with you.
All right, CTV sports family, go ahead and grab a seat. It's time for the Tuesday Sports Page. Now for our first story, we take a look at some high school soccer action from yesterday afternoon as multiple boys teams faced off. Crossland took down Largo 4-2 to notch their second win of the season. CMIT South shut out Central 2-0 to make it 2 straight wins for themselves. And finally, Oxendale's offense was the highlight of their game against Friendly as they scored 9 goals. That's right, 9 goals to the Patriots 2 to remain undefeated on the year at 4-0. Meanwhile, the UMD football team has been playing very well to begin the season as the Terps have already tied their total number of wins from a season ago. So far, Maryland is 4-0 with the most recent win coming from Wisconsin this past weekend. And a big reason for that is the play of quarterback Malik Washington and linebacker Daniel Wingate, who have each earned Big Ten weekly awards. Washington was awarded Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors after his play in the win against the Badgers. In the game, the Maryland native picked apart Wisconsin's defense, throwing for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns and also 0 picks. And to begin the season, Washington has thrown for 1,038 yards and has accounted for 10 touchdowns. His passing yards are the most for any Power Conference true freshman since Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels back in 2019. And for Wingate, the Bowie, Maryland native led the team with 11 tackles, a sack, and 1.5 tackles for loss in the win against Wisconsin. Wingate has been a tackling machine so far for the Terps, as he leads the conference in total tackles with 39. And he's recorded 10 or more tackles in 3 of the first 4 games this season. Wingate, Washington, and the rest of the team will take on the University of Washington next on October 4th. Meantime, another player from the Washington Commanders has suffered an injury as safety Will Harris sustained a fractured fibula in the team's game against the Raiders on Sunday. And the team has immediately filled that hole by signing safety Darnell Savage after Harris was placed on IR. The former Terp has 354 tackles, 38 pass breakups, and 10 picks and a sack over his 7-year career. The former first-round pick spent the 2024 season with the Jacksonville Jaguars after spending the previous 5 seasons with the Green Bay Packers. And in Major League news, the Baltimore Orioles will host the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. First pitch is at 6:35. And finally, the Washington Nationals will be in Atlanta tonight, taking on the Braves at 7:15. And that wraps up your Tuesday Sports Page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's take a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms before 10 p.m. with a low of 65. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers after 2 p.m., a high of 81, and a low of 67 Thursday. Showers likely all day with a high of 82 and a low of 67. Friday, the wet weather continues to start your weekend with a high of 76 and a low of 63.
And for our community calendar, the 8th annual Celebrate Africa Festival takes over Fairwood Community Park in Bowie. Explore the vendor village, sample African cuisine from local food trucks, and bring the kids to get fit. There will also be djembe making, puppet theater, and a soccer clinic. It's happening this Sunday, September 28th from 1 to 6 p.m. But for more information, email rhapsody.snyder@pgparks.com. That's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're going to see you again tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.